Okay, guys. So you know we're able to use that stuff from last night.
I learned how to call IT.
For what?
Just I got
Not from last night.
really good at it. Oh yeah.
Huh?
That's what we did for like the first hour.
You called IT?
No,
did.
you did.
You did.
We
I
learn
did.
to tell them have a blessed day, even though
Yes.
even when they don't help you.
I know. Always glass half full.
So now I know how to call. So there.
Yeah. Okay. And I know I say it every night.
This is important.
Important.
Pay attention.
Don't freak out. What else do I say? Guys, those three things. Remember those three things. Okay?
What?
Okay, guys, tonight we're going to learn something. It's actually pretty cool. You know, once you start putting it together, once we start bringing the machines, that we get into the advance of the speakers, that's when it's really going to start taking off. It's going to get pretty cool. Okay? So I'm going to teach you the basics of speakers tonight. Okay? So put attention.
Let's see how Eclipse makes it easy to keep track of speakers. In this example, I wrote the word objection, but I didn't have time to identify the speaker. To insert the speaker paragraph, I could either use the speed key, F2, or I could open the Format menu and select Speaker.
Okay, so if you're in your lesson, hit F2.
Cool.
So it should bring up a speaker box, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody not? Did it not for anyone?
And that's so funny. Well, I know this is in the training thing, but it has like Miss Anderson, Miss Robertson, Mr. White, and Mr. Black in the speaker box. In mine.
In yours?
Yeah.
That's what he had, didn't he?
I don't know. But you see how?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you that, yeah. So for those of you that are taking it online, or the 16 of you that aren't here tonight, this is what it looks like when you're watching the video tomorrow. Okay? So it comes up like this, speaker. Okay? Well, which is kind of weird it's not in there, but you know, if you want if you want to put a speaker in there, like say you're in court, well the court's not in there, well no big deal, check it out, all caps, do it with me, all caps, the court, well be careful because wherever your little prompt was, that's where it's going to put the court.
If you were on here, it shouldn't put it there, right?
No.
Your cursor.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
you don't want it there. Okay? But that's how you put it in. Okay?
Oh shit, it did do it.
Hmm?
It did do it. It did put it
What
in
did
there.
you push?
So, in this instance, where should our cursor be, just for the hell of it? Heck of it.
Okay, let's just say you want to put it right here. On if.
Okay.
And this is going to be the court right here. Okay? So you go into your speaker, which is what? Speaker box? F2. The court, all caps. Okay? And then just push enter. See how it puts it in there? So it puts it as a speaker.
Right.
F2, and then all caps, the court,
Now you're teaching the class.
She asked me, where do you see all caps?
Oh, no, on your keyboard.
Yeah,
On your cap locks. Huh? Let me get my stick. I don't mind.
Not working.
Go Carla. Go Carla.
Do it.
She's the teacher.
She wants to be the teacher.
What's up with your voice?
Oh, okay.
Huh?
What's up with your voice?
God, allergies are killing me. Killing me.
Don't
And this is
freak out.
good. Huh?
Don't freak out.
Don't freak out.
No big deal.
No big deal. What else?
It's teaching the class.
Yeah.
So like, important, say you're gonna take like a plea and then like the attorneys like bring in witnesses. Like, do you have enough time to put in like the person's name and stuff?
No. And you don't have to.
So where does this fall into?
So like, and that's going to be like in the advanced. Good question, but that's going to be like in the advanced. So like if I was doing a plea, and then this is what my lovely assistant just asked. So if I'm going to do a plea, you know, I have the court styles the case. Okay, you know, this is what the case is about, blah, blah, blah. Mr. So-and-so, attorney for the defendant, you know, do you understand this is the plea agreement? Yes, it is. Sir, Mr. You know, Kavanaugh, do you understand that this is the plea agreement or whatever? And I just do witness, which is WNS, witness, and it comes up the witness. So in here, it would be right here. So that's what it's going to come up as, witness. And then it's, yes sir, that's what it is. And then court is all of them, is all four. So it's your home keys pressed down, okay?
That's the court.
That's the court, okay? And we'll learn that once we start bringing the machines, okay?
So like if you have more than one witness, you do witness 2 or witness 3?
I have like different things, and I'll teach you that. That's in the advanced. Another good question though, but I just do like, you know, pink, or gray, and black, you know, because their shirt is black. So the first thing that I see on somebody, and I don't have a speaker identification for them, that's what I think. You know, so if they're wearing glasses, it's glass. That one's kind of hard because the G, there's so many letters on the GL, so you kind of want to keep it easy. You know, don't make it harder than it needs to be. That's how I do my speaker identifications, is doing it twice. So be careful. You know, if the guy is Mr. Kavanaugh or whatever, and you're doing Cav, and your Cav stands for something else. Okay? So be careful. What you got? Put your hand down there. I'm just kidding. So that's how I do it. So I have brown, black, glass, bald, tie, red, any of the colors. Yellow is yell. You know, just think of the first thing. You know, but don't get, you know, crazy with it. Like, you know, off blue, really?
Wait, so when
Yeah.
you go and put their name in your transcript, like,
Yeah, this was my preference.
Yeah. So like right here, once again, getting way off. I like the questions though, good questions. So what you're going to do is come in here and tap on it. Okay, so whatever speaker you have right there, say you put the court, let's just say you put the court, and that's one of your speakers. Okay? Got it? I'm going to show you real quick. Really, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because this is on the advanced class, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's just say, you know, your witness was Mr. Zarate. Okay, well now I want to global it. Okay, so I'm going to do a Control G. Well, it's telling me that there's not any steno. Okay, but you do a Control G, it comes up, and it puts it in the speaker thing, which was the brackets, big S, colon, got it? And then right after that I put Mr. Zarate. And then it's going to put it in there every time just like this, and it's going to look just like that, Mr. Zarate. So you're not going to see the brackets, big S, colon, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't set it up that way. It sets it up as Mr. Kavanaugh, Mr. Zarate, Mr. Smith, Mr. blah, blah, blah. But it's not letting me do that because I don't have any steno tracking for it. I mean steno, okay? But let's just say I had it like that, and it's like, you know what, I just want to put it in there. Well, now I could come in here and put Mr. Zarate, okay? I'm already in there, it's blinking, you know, so you're in the speaker, check it out, press enter, puts it in there. That's what it's going to look like. Everyone have that? It's that easy. So when you global it, that's what it's going to look like. But when you have steno for it, then it allows you to global it, that's what it's going to look like. But let's just say, oh shoot, it was going so fast, I didn't have time to put witness, and I just started typing what he said. No big deal. Go into speakers, which is what? F2. Type Mr. Zarate, because that was the defendant's name. Put it right where he started speaking. Comes up just like that. So if you don't have tracking for it, if you don't have steno for it, and you forgot to put in witness, then that's what you have to do. Okay?
You said something about an identification form. Is that something you get before the case starts? Or?
Yeah, like they'll tell you, okay, this is the case of David Zarate. We're going to do a plea in the case of David Zarate.
So
Okay.
You set up all your
So-
you set up all your speakers now?
No, I mean, you don't have time for that, guys. You're not going to have time. You're going to do, I mean, we've done 30 pleas in a morning. You don't have time to set up every one. You don't have to. You don't, it's, because it's going to change every time. So you're not going to, shut down, bring in a new file because it's a new, no, just keep going. And what I do at the end of each one, we're getting way advanced. I mean, and I'm going to teach you this later, is like we'll do a plea, and once we're done, I do end. END, end about 5 or 6 times. So when I find out, and it's like, when I'm looking on my sheet of, my docket, and the docket's, 18 pages, it's like, oh shoot, I need to go to Zarate. Okay, well, it's on page 18, the last page, because, it's alphabetical order. Okay, oh, here it is. And it was the 16th file. Oh, okay. Well, I know it's not going to be on page 1 or page 4 or page 20 because a plea usually lasts about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depending. So if it's 176 pages of pleas and he's number 16 out of 18, do you think it's going to be page 4? Yeah, no. Unless he did a mini trial, a mini plea, or a mega plea. It's not. Okay, so you can go to page 100 and then do find, which is what? F, and then just do end and hit enter, and then it's going to go to the next one and it's going to say Kavanaugh. Okay, Kavanaugh was 11. Well, I need 16. Okay, so I know it's still way. And all you can do is, what is the next one? How do you go to the next one? What's that command? If you do a find and then you try to do the command again. Huh?
Shift hyper key out.
Or is it K? K, whenever you page
Somebody,
down.
it's L.
I'm sorry.
It's L.
Capital?
No.
It's L.
Is it
Huh? Control L. It's control. Were you saying it?
Yeah, I said L.
You said control shift delete L or something.
I know it's L. That's all I need.
Yeah. It's control L. So control L takes it to the next one. Control L takes it to the next one. Control L takes it to the next end. And that's what you're looking for. Okay? Be careful because like on Eclipse, what it'll do, like if you put depend, it's going to take it to the end in depend. So what you need to do is put end. And then it'll take you to a double end where there's 2 ends. Does that make sense? And I'll show you once we start getting into it. I'll show you how to do it. It's easy. Okay?
Before we begin, you kept saying advanced, like advanced Eclipse or different advanced law?
Okay. So like what we're doing right now, the lessons, these are basic. So it's the basic thing of like speakers. So they're going to show you like the basic, and then we go through everything again. So prefix, suffix, hyper keys, all of that stuff, and then they really get into it. Okay, so we're going to go through them again, but then they start showing other videos of how to do advanced stuff with these keys. They're just showing you the minimum of these keys, of what they are, how to basically use them. Okay, the advanced is going to show you how to really use it, and that's when we're going to start bringing our machines and really start using it. Okay, so really what I do, I want you to get the basics down and use it. So by the time we get to the advanced, you know how to use it. So that's why I keep telling you, use it. Guys, I can't stress it enough. Because all we're gonna do is we're gonna be behind by the time we get to the advanced. If you're not using this, how do we turn on hyperkeys? Seriously? If I get one of those, that stick's gonna start having notches on it, okay? Where somebody's getting whacked every week, okay? So that's why I'm telling you, use this stuff. Use it while you can, okay? And I get that, maybe you didn't have time to do it last night. But you know what? You've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to use it before we come back next Wednesday again. So these 2 days that we take, the Wednesday and Thursday class, use that weekend to really use it, what we learned that week. Or even go back. You know what? Well, I get that. I get the mouse commands. I don't need to do mouse commands. I'm going to go back to hyperkeys and do that one because that's the one that I really want to learn. And you should. Okay?
Did you figure out for Monday?
I'm sorry?
Are we gonna come on Monday?
No. I'll talk to you guys about that at the end of the class, but no. Okay? Remind me.
Monday.
Monday.
Let's see how Eclipse makes it easy. Key F2, or I could open the Format menu and select Speaker. If the speaker's name is already on the list, I can select it by either using the mouse to point and click, or by pressing the number next to the name. However, when I enter this dialog, Eclipse is ready for me to start typing to add a new name to the list. I could then close the dialog by either pressing the Enter key or clicking on the OK button. The name gets added to the speaker list and to my document. As of Eclipse version 4.3, the speaker list offers the option to let you display a seating chart, but this is the topic of a separate visualizer presentation.
So you can even do a seating chart with it. You can do different colors and whatever.
Would that be like in an
yeah.
office or something
Huh?
as opposed to a courtroom?
Like if you're in you can do a courtroom too. So I mean, let's say you're doing the OJ trial and you need like a seating chart because there's so many attorneys and stuff in there. So I need to know, in the seating chart and, and most of the time, I mean, you have pretty good control of the courtroom. So you kind of know, so it's like, I need you guys to kind of sit here every day. And like those guys are getting up and they're coming to this podium and asking questions from this podium. Did y'all watch that? Some of you cats probably weren't even alive, were you? During the OJ trial. But you weren't?
It's not
Atta
the orange
girl.
juice.
Do you know who OJ is? Atta girl.
I'm 30.
I'm sorry?
I'm 30 years old.
Woo-hoo. Got an oldie back there. But anyway, I mean, there was a lot of people, there's a lot of attorneys, and I was just telling a student right before we got started, my first court hearing was with 19 attorneys. Yeah. And you try to think of 19 speaker identifications for 19 different attorneys. Now, not all 19 of them spoke, but about 14 of them did.
So they wear different colors.
They were all in brown suits. Weird. So it's all black, black one, black, black two. I mean, brown, brown one. No, I mean, so you just kind of pick out the first thing, and that was when I really, we kind of learned it in school a little bit about speakers and how to do speakers, and really you kind of work with colors. When the first color that you kind of see that comes with somebody that's easy, but Katie's wearing green. I don't know that I want to do green every time. It's not a super hard stroke, but it's not the easiest. So I would do like maybe hair, just something that, and just something that, and you have to remember this, guys. You have to remember, because if I do hair, and she's pink, and I'm like, but her hair, and so I'm doing hair. Well, now I'm doing the speaker identification for what she's saying. And now they kind of sound alike. So when you go back and listen to the tape, oh shoot, was that her? And you get it mixed up. Not good. Not good. When you have this attorney saying stuff, You know, when it goes up on appeal and it's like, well, she's saying that she had an agreement, you know, with the thing. She's kind of arguing the other side's case. You see how it can get really jacked up? So you have to be real careful with these speaker identifications. But we'll get into it more.
Let's see how braces are used for special text within dictionary entries. Eclipse dictionary entries use braces to surround text that must not be inserted literally. This includes paragraph symbols, punctuation marks, prefixes, suffixes, and other entries that you don't necessarily make every day. The globaling and dictionary entries dialogues offer help for creating special entries. You can either press Ctrl-E or drop down the list, where
And this is where it makes it easy, guys. Okay? If you're paying attention, this is where it makes it easy. So let's say you put your speaker identification in there, and you have it. Now you global it. Now this little box comes up. Let me back up a little. So now, you know, let's just say this is your speaker identification. But let's just say, okay, this is your speaker identification. Now this box comes up. It's like, oh shoot, I don't know how to set up my speaker. I don't remember, is it? Don't worry about it. Relax. That's the other one. Relax. Come into special entries. It's going to drop down the box and then just start pushing S for speaker. And it's going to finally come on speaker. And that's what I'm getting ready to show you guys that it's going to do. So pay attention, okay?
you can either press Ctrl-E or drop down the list, where entries require.
See it right here? Like it's going to bring you at the top. So now it's a special entries. Press S, special characters, suffix. That's what you need. Speaker. So when it comes to speaker, push enter. It already sets it in there. You don't even have to remember how to do it. You should, but you don't even have to remember how to do it. It puts the prompt exactly where you need to be. You just start typing the name. That's all you do. That's what they're going to show you.
You should type, as in the case of a suffix, your cursor is automatically positioned at the spot where you need to type text. While globaling, you can use short.
Now this is one of the speaker identifications that they use. I don't use these, but I'm going to show them to you. When we get to the advanced, I'm going to show you these, because really there's only two. Well, there's four, okay? But this is one of them, is Jude. So one of them is snoo, and really they call it snoo and screw, because it's S-K, yeah, relax. S-K-W-R-A-O, okay? So it's snoo, which is S-N, okay? You got the top. So think of the keyboard, okay? You have your hands on home, it's snoo and screw, okay? Those are your, and then over here it's, I don't know that you can do it. I think it may be period A-O, comma A-O. Because if you do I, then it's I, comma, I, period. Okay, if you do it on this. So I think they use that, and that's why I don't use them. Okay, and I'm going to show you four different ones that I use. Okay, but this is one.
Cuts to insert symbols for paragraphs or punctuation. Thus, F2 opens the speaker list, so you can choose a name that's already there, or insert a new one. F3 inserts the symbol for a question, and F4 an answer. To insert the symbol for a comma, press Control comma. Likewise, Control period. For a quick question mark, press Control slash. There's also Control semicolon and Control colon, which would involve the Shift key. Control tilde inserts the symbol for a lock space. However, if you have an entire phrase whose words you want to keep together, you can use the lock button. Press the lock button again, and you'll get hyphens. Press it a third time to get back to regular spaces. It's a bunch of shortcuts to really save you time.
I don't know why they didn't really show you there. I guess they're gonna wait and do it on the advanced. But if you drop down that box, the special entries, and go to speaker, it automatically goes to the speaker. So it's the bracket, capital S, colon, in bracket. So it's all together, but you see the prompt is blinking right there where it needs to be. So don't freak out. Don't freak out, relax. All you have to do is start typing and it just moves. It moves with the word.
What's the setup again for it? Bracket, capital S, and then
Colon,
colon.
and then in bracket, but you need to be inside of that.
Right.
So if you're like, let's just say you're setting it up, okay? Which really you don't need to.
Is it a bracket?
Huh?
Is it a bracket or a bracket?
A what?
Brace or bracket?
Brace, yeah.
Oh, it's a brace. Yeah. Not the bracket, it's not that. It's,
Not the square.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So when I say bracket, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's the stuff that it's a brace, okay? It's B-R-A. So bracket, brace, it's all the same. Or thereabouts. So it's the brace. Okay, come down to Miss Anderson. Now we're gonna do it. Everybody there? Is anyone not?
Okay.
Everybody there?
Yeah.
Anyone not? Is it blinking like that?
No, it's solid like that.
Solid.
It
Is it
was
so-
blinking, but then it went
Yeah.
Is it
solid.
solid like that? Are you on it, or it's either
Yes.
solid or blinking?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now do Control G. Does it look like this?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now come to the special entries right here. Or you can do Control E. Control E is for entries. And drop that down. Or drop it up. It went up. Okay? You see that it's on special entries. Okay? Do you need that? Huh?
We need speaker. don't we?
Speaker. So keep pushing S till you get to speaker. Right there.
Wait a minute, what happened? Went away. Just start over. Oh.
Is everyone on speaker?
Yeah.
All right? Push enter. See what it does? It already sets it up. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to remember anything. All right? And now put your last name in there. So Mr. or Ms.
No space, right?
No
No
space.
space
Just
after
start
the code.
typing.
Caps, all caps?
Yeah. Mr. Zrodny. So this is how it should look. There's not any spaces. There's not any gaps. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Got it?
Got it.
All right, push enter. That's all you have to do. Now you just globaled it. Does everybody understand that? Global? So now it put it, so now every time that symbol, snoo or screw, whichever one it was, let's say it was snoo, and I was snoo. So every time snoo comes up, Mr. Zarati's gonna be in there. So be careful, okay? Be careful, because that's what globaling does. If you want to just change it, you know what? It was Mr. Zarati. It was supposed to be Mr. Smith, and I messed up here. Okay, no big deal. Come in here, Everyone? Open up the speaker list, which is what? F2. And let's just say it was Mr. Smith. Just like that. Everybody here? Everybody has it? Okay? Now push enter. The good thing about what you just did is you just changed it there. That's it. Okay? So good and bad. Be careful with that. Because if you want it throughout your whole document, you have to what? Global it. Globaling it globals throughout the whole document. Doing what we just did changes it right there only. In that one spot. Got that?
Yes.
Okay. So right here, Smith. Or they did Smith. I don't know if they did Smith. Yeah, they did Smith. So see right here where they did Smith?
Yeah.
Everyone see that?
Yes.
Well, let's just say you wanted to do that. The SMIT asterisk, if I knew that it was Smith and I'm going to use it as a speaker identification, I don't know that I'm going to make it that hard. I'm not. I would have done like Smith. Instead of having to come over and you do the asterisk every time. If it's easy for you, do it. If it's not, then make it easy. Smith. It's the same thing. And you're doing it twice, so you know that it's going to be something. It's either a last name, speaker identification, or something like that. You know, because, you know, say the guy's name was Mr. Smithereen. Okay? And instead of doing Smithereen, you're doing Smith. Be careful. Because you know it's Mr. Smithereen, and now it's like, oh, I want to use him as a speaker identification and use Smith. Well, now you just messed up. Okay? Because now you shortened his name by doing Smith for Smithereen, but you wanted to do him as a speaker identification too, and you did Smith. Does that make sense? So be careful. But, you know, be careful. Okay? So let's just, so we're on Smith, and it's a speaker identification. Okay? So how are we going to do it?
F2 for the.
F7 or something?
No, I want to global it.
Oh.
I want to global it throughout the whole document because I know Smith is going to be Smithereen.
So G.
F7
Huh?
G for global.
and then G if it's right.
Keep going. Almost there. So if you want to global it,
Control G or GG.
Control G twice. You can do the G, but what's it going to do?
Oh yeah, it has to highlight both of them.
Yeah.
You do G,
Twice.
it just highlights one, huh?
So you have to do it twice.
I
Do
hit
what?
F7 twice.
No. Guys, pay attention. We've already talked about this and I've explained it several times. Doing G only globals one stroke. So if you do G again, it's going to start typing a G.
Okay, so it's control.
So if you have two strokes, two or more strokes, you need to do what?
Control G.
Control G. Or you can do G and then Control G. So if you don't think, you know, if you're, oh man, I need to global it, G. Oh man, I forgot. Don't freak out. Do Control G. Now it, to me, it's just always easier to do the Control G twice. And now I don't forget. But if it's something that's only one stroke, what do you do?
Just Control G.
You can do Control G or G. But if it's two or more strokes, you have to do Control G. Or you can do G, but Control G after that. Okay? So be real careful with that. So don't do G and then you're going to do G again because then it's going to start typing G's after that. Okay? That make sense? Okay. Write that down. That's pretty important. You're going to be like, how do I global it? You know, two strokes and Control G. Okay?
So let me just ask this so that I don't do it again if that's wrong. it's in hyper keys, and I had it like on the first one, and instead of doing the whole G thing, I just hit F7 twice, it highlighted it, and then I hit G, and then it took me to where you are.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just another way of doing it.
Okay.
I don't do it that way. No. I mean, guys, it doesn't really matter how you get there, as long as you get there correct. Because if you just do the first G, and all it does is bring up the first one, and now you made it a speaker identification, now you're going to have two identifications because you have two Smiths right there. So you didn't do it right. Be careful with what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're doing. Okay? So you know it's a 2. Now if it's Smith, it's Mr. Smith, and Smith isn't in your dictionary, and you just want to put it in your dictionary, how do you do it? What'd you say? What did you say? Yeah. G. Yeah, just push G, globals it. It's just one stroke for Smith. Put Smith, puts it in your dictionary. But if you do Smith one time, it's usually not a speaker identification. Does that make sense? Okay, so be careful with what you're doing. Okay, so we're right here. We know it's a speaker identification. So what do we need to do next?
Identify the speaker.
How? Special entry or control E. Go to what? S. Is that it? Speaker.
Yeah.
Got it? Push enter. Now it's right there. So let's just say it was Mr. Smithsonian. Okay, Smith was Smithsonian. And it's one of my clients, so I just use Smith. Whatever. You can. And that's what I wanted to put. Pay attention. Pay attention right here, guys. Everybody up here. The speaker, identification, right? I went to special entries, did speaker. It's Mr. Smithsonian. Do I want to put it in my main?
No.
No, you don't. Okay? Because next week you're going to take the deposition of Mr. Smithereen and you do Smith. Well, guess what's going to come up? Smithsonian. So be real careful with that. Okay? So now you want to put it in a job dictionary, which is what?
Control J.
Control J. So do Control J, and it puts it in there. So what that did was, in that job, every time the Smith comes up, it's going to be Mr. Smithsonian. But it didn't go in your main. So next time you do Smith, it's going to come up. I don't know if it'll do it. No, it's not. It's going to come up Smith again. No big deal. Just define it again in that job. Or maybe that's the next week when you take the deposition of Mr. Smithereen. No big deal. Smith. Special entry, speaker, Smithereen, Mr. Smithereen. Do I put it in my main?
No.
No. It's another job dictionary, which is what?
Control J.
Control J for job. All right? Very good. Okay, we're going to do it again. Have a good weekend. Okay, now we have Jones. Okay, and that's Mrs. Jones. Okay? Yes, thank you. Okay, so how do we do it? G, Control G. So we have both of them. Got it? What do we do next? Special entries, speaker, enter. Guys, I was taught this, right, wrong, I don't know. But I was taught that you always put MS.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Yeah. I to this day, and I know, you know, some of the ladies some of the attorneys are married, and I still put MS, always.
Nobody's
know.
ever said anything different, right?
No one's ever told me anything in the 26 years, that, well, I'm not, you know, Ms. It's just, I think it's more proper. Because if you see a ring and it's like, oh, she's married. No, she's never been married. That was her mom's ring. When she passed away, she gave it to her. Before she passed away, she gave it to her. But she's not an MRS. She's just an MS. So I've always used it. It's just easier for me. You do what you want. I'm telling you how I do it. Okay? You can do what you want. So I always put MS Jones. Okay? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do I want it to go in my main?
No.
No. What do I want it to go in?
Control.
What is that?
Control J.
Control J. And that's all it does. So you don't have to know how to set it up. You don't have to know any of that. Zero. It already knows what to do. All you have to do is go to the special entry on speaker. Guys, all of this stuff, prefixes, suffixes, let's see. Let's see if we can go in. So look at all this stuff. You can do a delete space, prefix, suffix, cap next, cap previous, question, answer, speaker, period, question mark, comma. Open up that thing and look at all those things that you can do with that. And we're going to do a bunch of them. This is going to be another one, is the auto include. That's going to be one that we use a lot, auto include. So what we're going to have is block files. Okay, and I'm not going to get into it a whole lot, but I'm going to tell you. So we go into the auto, we go into this, and say we're taking a lunch break. When we're taking lunch, what I do is lun, L-U-N, lun. What's that? Oh, it's lunch. Okay. Well, I global it, which is what?
Control
G, Control G. Open the special entries, come to the auto include. Well, now, when we set it up to where your block files, and I'll explain what block files are, but block files are like little sayings or little commands, okay? So every time I do lun, I want this little paragraph thing to come in, it's centered, and it says, whereupon a lunch recess was had. And that's it, that's all it says. So it tells the reader what you're doing. Because sometimes if it goes up on appeal, the Fourth Court of Appeals wasn't there. They have no idea what was going on. Lun, what's that? I don't know what lun is. They don't. We do. So we put these auto includes in there. They put your block files in there, and it tells them, oh, whereupon a lunch recess was had. You don't have to, and I'm going to show you on block files, it doesn't have to be 19 lines. Whereupon all of the attorneys and all of the bailiffs, the clerks, the judge, court reporter, all went to lunch, and they went to a nice little place, and it was sunny outside. Really? Short, sweet, to the point. Whereupon lunch recess was had, it should only be one line. That's it. Short, to the point. Okay?
Would you do that for like a bench conference too?
Yeah. So I do Ben for like a bench conference. You can do it for off the record. You know what, Dave? We need to go off the record for a second, have a discussion. Off. Whereupon a short off the record discussion was had, and that's all it is. It's one sentence, it's one line, that's it.
And you put that in your main dictionary, so whenever you type that, right, it automatically.
Yeah, that's going to be in your main.
Okay.
That'll be in your main. Okay, and I'll show you how to do it, but that's not today. Any questions about that part of speaker identification?
Let's see some of the choices that AutoMagic offers at the start or end of a paragraph. Here my cursor's on the very beginning of this speaker paragraph. Pressing 2 would give this paragraph to the second speaker on the speaker list. Pressing 3 would open the speaker list so I could choose someone else. Other choices make it easy to join this paragraph to a preceding one, or to change it to any other kind of paragraph in the system.
So what they're telling you right here is that a lot of times you can do some of this stuff in the Auto Magic. It's going to give you those choices, okay? But if it doesn't, no big deal. Don't freak out. You just go to the speaker list, change it. No big deal, okay? But a lot of times it's gonna know, you know what? You're using Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones. Do you want one of these? Yeah, I do. I got it wrong. I put Mr. Smith, but it was supposed to be Mr. Jones. Put it in there. So you don't have to go through there. F2, he's number 8. 8. All you have to do is look up here. Number 2, pow. It's done. Okay? Yeah.
Can you show how to make a correction if you misspell the name that's already in the speaker thing? Like in the case where you put Mrs. versus Miss.
This is what?
Mrs. versus Miss, how to correct that to change it to Miss?
Oh, yeah.
No, can you show that?
Yeah. Any other questions?
And at that,
Yeah, I'll show you in just a second.
And the info bar is showing the keyboard shortcuts for these functions. This time my cursor is on the first word of the paragraph. At this spot, pressing 4 would change this to a byline using the speaker question format. Let's change this speaker paragraph to an answer. I'll press the 7 key. We saw one byline format.
See, so you can do all of these things. You don't have to go in and reinvent the wheel. Look over here and just see if it has it already. Oh, you know what? I put them in as colloquy. It's not colloquy. And that's what this is called, guys. Let me back up a little bit. When people are just talking like this and they're just, you know, it's question answer by Mr. Smith, and then Mr. Smith comes out and says, Judge, we were talking about the farm. Well, it's not question answer when he's talking to the court or when he's talking to the other attorney. Now it's colloquy. So when they're talking to each other, it's colloquy. Even if they're asking questions, you know, the other attorney butts in, he goes, hey, you talking about the farm? Yeah, I'm talking about the farm. His farm? Yeah, his farm. Have you been to his farm? I don't need to have gone to his farm to ask him questions about the farm. Okay, I was just asking if you knew about the farm. It's question answer, but it's not, it's between the attorneys, so it's colloquy. It's not question answer of the witness. So it's only question answer when there's a witness. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Paragraph to an answer. I'll press the 7 key. We saw one byline format, now let's see another. I'll press 1 to turn this into a byline in the question speaker format, and pressing 2 would indicate that Mr. Jones is asking the question. 2 different byline formats very easily inserted. This time let's go to the end of the paragraph. That's where you'll often want to insert a block of text from a file. So the number 1 choice is to read in text from a block file. But maybe you want to change the sentence to end with a question mark or a dash. Automagic is offering these shortcuts, but it's also teaching the hyperkeys or speed keys. These are just some of the choices that Automagic offers, because Eclipse understands the kinds of editing that you might need to do at the start or end of a paragraph.
Got it? Pretty self-explanatory. No big deal. So let's just say it's a question answer. This is going to explain colloquy again. So they're asking question and answers. Mr. Smith is the one asking the questions. Then all of a sudden he asks a question. So in your opinion, sir, what was the cause of the accident? Mr. Roberts said, I object. Mr. White, yeah, I object too. It was asked and answered. And they're on the same side, okay? So Mr. Black is, you know, maybe it's a court. And the court said, well, what's your objection? Mr. White, asked and answered. The court comes back, overruled. Well, Judge, can't I object to that as asked and answered? And the court comes back, yes, you can. So see how he asked a question, but it's not question answer. It's colloquy. That's what this is called, colloquy. So when they're talking to each other, talking to the court, you know, or just asking general questions of somebody, you know, and say, you know, I'm questioning this witness right here, and, you know, is it true that you went to the farm? Yeah, I went to the farm. And somebody, you know, her mom goes, you've never been to that farm? Have you been to that farm? Ma'am, I don't need to have been to the farm. You've never been to the farm. I don't need to have been to the farm. And see how it's question answer or whatever? It's not question answer. Now it's colloquy because this is the witness. So the only time it's question answer is with the witness. You get that? Okay? Anything else is going to be colloquy. Okay?
Even with the judge, if the judge asks the witness, then it's still Q&A?
I always put it in colloquy.
Okay.
So the judge says, you know what, I have some questions of the witness. Do you guys mind if I ask some questions? No, go ahead. I always put it in colloquy. So I put the judge, the witness, the judge, the witness, the judge, the witness. So I know that her name is, you know, Mrs. Kavanaugh. Well, I don't put Mrs. Kavanaugh, I put the witness because she's the witness on the stand right now. So I put it as the witness. Does that make sense? Okay.
And it'll appear if you print it out with the brace to differentiate between.
No, all it's going to say is just Mr. Smith.
Okay.
They're just showing you the setup, and that's how you set it up. Okay? It's not going to look like that. It's just going to say Mr. Smith, Mr. Zarate, Mr. Kavanaugh, Mr. Smithsonian. Got it?
Let's see how to change speakers within Total Eclipse. This answer needs to be changed to a speaker paragraph. Here's a keyboard method in case you'd rather not use the mouse. Simply place your cursor in this first line and press the home key twice. Then press F2 to see the speaker list.
Okay, that's another way of getting into the speaker. Do you see the home key on your computer?
Yes.
So it should be right around the number pad, right on the right-hand side. If you have the number pad, or somewhere on your right-hand side, there's going to be a home key. Do you see it?
Yeah.
It's the one by page up, right?
You see it? Okay. If you press that twice, it'll take you into the speaker. So press it, see if it does.
No.
Does it take you into a speaker?
No.
I think it's because they already have the speaker box up on the, they're already displaying it. So if I press home key twice, you know.
Okay. Not press home.
Yeah. Or did you have to do anyone to take it like
Now do it. See? So get into like where we did that little your turn, and then we did the speaker, and the Smiths, it said Smithsonian and Jones and all that. Just get anywhere in one of those sentences.
It's not working.
Hmm? Yeah, it is.
It's not bringing up the screen.
You don't need the screen. I'm telling you how to get into the speaker,
Okay.
not how to get into the screen. Just into the speaker. So, oh, so it turns it on and off. Like this. your function button, if it's not doing it, it might be because of your function button, and it's doing something else, it's bringing up some other thing. Did you turn up your function? Were you doing anything?
I was here, but
Yes, sir.
since the master's, oh, cool.
You did? Yeah, let me know how that works out. Hmm? Yeah, I think you did.
It's not working for you?
It's supposed to take us to our speaker, and that's what I said it wasn't working, so we don't like
If you hit the F2, whenever you're on it, it doesn't bring up your, it doesn't bring up your speaker list?
Yeah, but I thought you said you were supposed to hit the home.
Oh, yeah.
So home doesn't bring that up. Yeah, not with F2, it works with F2, but not home.
Yeah.
That's what my question.
Okay, and that's how you get into your speaker. Or you can just put your arrow on it, left click on it, and it lights it up. But that's just another way is doing the home, okay?
To select Miss Sutherland, I can press the 4 key, which is the number next to her name, then press the Enter key. But there's also a mouse method. Simply click on the paragraph button and select Speaker. OK. Then use the mouse to point and click. OK. I want to be able to use a set of editing shortcuts that are built into the default Total Eclipse keyboard setup. In other words, I want to be able to press Control 1 from anywhere in this paragraph and have it change to Speaker 1. So I don't want to be confused by the order in which speakers' names happen to be listed. And have it change to Speaker 1. In other words, I want to be able to press Control 1 from anywhere in this paragraph and have it change to Speaker 1. So I don't want to be confused by the order in which speakers' names happen to be listed.
So it's actually kind of neat. If you go into the F2, so the order that they're in, you can do Control 1, and that's a speaker that it will put in. Okay. So let's see if it works. Sometimes I don't use it a whole lot, I'll be honest. But let's see if it works.
So you have to go to where you're wanting to put the speaker in.
Yeah, so let's say it's right here. So I opened up my speaker box, and I know that Miss Robertson or Miss Roberts or whatever, I don't know what it is, it's not showing the whole thing. Let's just say I wanted Mr. Zarati, okay? So I know that it's 6. So let's see if it does it. So I'm gonna do Control 6. No, it didn't.
No.
It did the chords.
Oh, never mind.
Huh?
Nothing.
What? What'd you do?
No, nothing. I thought you were doing something else, never mind.
What happened?
We did the shortcut and it worked.
Which one?
The control one. I hit the wrong one.
You hit the wrong one?
There are 2 ones. My right one wasn't working, but my top one was.
Oh, see if.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, don't use your numbers on the right hand side. Don't use the little numbers. It's not going to work the same. Okay? You have to use the numbers up on top. Okay?
If you don't bring up the speaker
See,
list.
the chord was 5, and I guess they count 0 as 1. I guess. I thought 0 would be 0, but it's not. So see how it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the chord, but it says 5 right here.
So if you hit Control 5, you're actually Mr. Black, right?
I'm sorry?
If you hit Control 5 right now,
Yeah.
it's Mr. Black.
So let's see.
'Cause they-
So see, we're in here, we're gonna do Control 5. See how it changes to Mr. Black? Is everybody paying attention? Guys, this is kind of important, okay?
Yeah.
Kind of important, kind of good stuff. So you don't have to open that speaker box all the time. if you know where the speaker is.
Right.
Okay? But they count 0 as 1. Okay? So when you open up your speaker box and you want Mr. Zarate and it's number 6, what are you going to push?
Control 6.
Huh?
Control 6.
It's going to be control 7.
Oh, 7? Oh, because of
Because
the 0.
0 is 1. I don't know why they do it that way.
Well, okay. If I press control 0, it goes to witness. But if I press control 6, it goes to the court. So yeah,
Let me see. Control 0
I don't
does
have-
the witness.
I don't have Zarate in my dictionary, so that's the reason why.
You should. It's the best speaker ever. Yes, ma'am.
On mine, I have control 1, I don't need control 6, I just do 6, and changes the name.
Yeah, but I'm showing you how to do it without going into the speaker list.
You have to know who's in your who is set up.
You have to know where they are. So let's just say you're in a deposition and it's only 2 people. It's not going to be that hard. Okay? You don't have to go into your speaker. Get out of that. Let's just say you're right here. And Mr. Zarate, you need to change it to. Let's say it's get out and do control 3. See how it didn't do Mr. White? Now do control 4. Now do Mr. White. Because the 0 is 1. Got it? So pay attention. The 0 is 1. Are y'all understanding that?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you guys do?
I have no idea. I was trying to get Mr. Zarate out there, and somehow that came out.
You have to get it here. And stay with me. All right. Okay, you're right there. Speaker list is open. Mr. Zarate is 6. So what's it going to be? 7. So do control 7.
Mine does the same thing too.
You're not in. Maybe it's in hypertext.
I don't know how to come off.
Control.
Did you turn your function button on?
No, that guy came and just played.
Do control function 7.
But you have to know function seven with number 2 on the list.
Oh, so it's the numbers, it's not the F.
No, it's not the F. It's the
Oh,
numbers.
I kept doing this.
No,
There's no way to modify
I
it.
am paying attention.
it's the numbers. The numbers. So let me see. I see. Yours wasn't doing it first either.
Change it to 0, isn't it? But you'd have to go back.
She probably doesn't have it. Go to F2.
What, Mr. Zarate?
Yeah, you don't, yeah. So I guess that would be the jumper kind of situation.
It's gotta be 7.
See, because here you can take a shortcut again and change it to the number.
Reload the tutorial whenever we get done. Reload the lesson and then do it again.
Just, you were talking about the changing of the sequences and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Not that I would want to, but
Yeah, you'd have to go through each one individually, choose a number on it.
Be careful with that. I'm going to show you how to do it. Be careful. I'm going to show you a different way to do it.
all right, well, I already screwed something up, so.
Okay, guys. So you can come in here and you can change different things. You can come into F2 and say you want to change Mr. Zarate, and you want him. You know what? I don't want him as number 6. I want him as number 1. I want him as the number 1 speaker. So all you have to do is move up, up, and you can change it. Or you can click on Mr. Zarate and push change, and now you could just do a shortcut. So say you want it to be A, you can put A, or you can put 1, or you can put 9, whatever you want the shortcuts to be. And they're going to show you that later too. Okay, speaker corrections.
It's very easy to change paragraph labels that contain a misspelled speaker's name. Just press F2 to open the speaker table. Then select the name you want to change. By the way, you can also open the change dialog by double-clicking on a speaker's name. Type the new name and press OK. Usually you'll make the change throughout all the documents.
So that's how you do it. Remember we were talking about, you just asked that. Okay? That's how you do it. Huh?
I don't really figured it out, but yeah.
Guys, stay with me. That's why you guys are asking questions about stuff that we had just gone over and why stuff isn't working. And I get, you know, you're doing stuff, and I kind of like that, but we've got to stay with the basic, because if we don't get the basic, you don't get that foundation, bless you, your foundation's going to crack when we get to the advanced. When we start setting up the walls and putting the roof on, your foundation is already messed up because you don't have it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? And I get that you want to do it, and I want you to. But when we're here, when you're out, mess with it. You're not going to mess it up. You may, but if you do, we'll figure it out. Okay? But in here, I want you to stay with me as much as you can. Okay? But Marie had asked me about, you know, changing. Well, let's say you did Mr. Tiramisu, and it was with an E, and it's supposed to be with an I. Okay? So I'm going to go back and show you, play it again and show you how to do that.
Easy to change paragraph labels that contain a misspelled speaker's name. Just press F2 to open the speaker table. Then select the name you want to change. By the way, you can also open the change dialog by double-clicking on a speaker's name. Type the new name and press OK. Usually you'll make the change throughout all the documents.
And it's just that easy. Put it on the current, what it needs to be. It's going to give you what it was. And it's tiramisu with an E, and I need it with an I. So in the current, it's going to give you with the E. Go in there, change it with the I, blah, blah, blah. It's going to ask you. So pay attention right here. So now it's going to ask you, do you want all of them changed? Or do you just want it from there on? Well, let's say it was I can't even think of an instance where you would do that. So really it needs to be all. I mean, unless you hit like a speaker identification, and let's just say it's 1, and let's just say Mr. Tiramisu did all of the morning. Well, after lunch, Mrs. Smith came in. Well, she's for the state, so now you're doing speaker 1 for Mr. Tiramisu, and it keeps coming up Tiramisu. Well, you can go in there, change it from Mr. Tiramisu to Mrs. Smith from there forward. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's not going to change it from the back. You don't need it from the back because Mr. Tiramisu did it from the morning to lunch, or from lunch to the evening break. It was Miss Smith came in for him, but I was using the same speaker identification. So that's where you would do that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yeah.
All right. So that's where.
Say that you've used the same steno to identify an attorney throughout the day, but at lunch, he or she is replaced by a colleague.
Hey,
you
we
can
heard
use
that.
the forward button to change the speaker's name only from lunch forward. The change is instant and even affects byline paragraphs that reference the speaker's name. Let's take a closer look at the dialogue used to change a speaker name. It does much more. For instance, you could select shortcuts way beyond 9. You could also select special colors to identify speaker.
So see how you can change, you can do colors even.
Can you show an example of that?
Huh? Well, they're going to show you an example.
Oh, okay.
So let's just say you're on Mr. Tiramisu, you want to identify him as a color, that's what they're going to do right here. So I'm going to back it up just a bit.
That's way beyond 9.
So you're going to click on the name, change, it's going to bring this up. Okay? So go into it. Go into your speaker go into your speaker, which is what?
F2.
F2. Pick one of your speakers, highlight it. Everybody there? Now do change. Got it? And go into color. Don't do anything yet.
You could also select special colors to identify speaker. And set up speaker groups. There.
So go into, you're in the color, choose a color. It doesn't really matter the color, just pick a color. And then press OK. Did it change it? So it should have changed it right here. Did it?
Yeah.
Did anybody's not? Okay? And that's how you do it. It's not that big of a deal. I don't really know what purpose it serves other than you put in a color.
I think it comes out on the transcript, doesn't it?
No.
Doesn't it? It doesn't come out as a color?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe just for editing purposes?
Yeah.
Maybe so.
I'm just kidding. No, it doesn't. It doesn't come out on the transcript. It may come out on your real time. It may put it in that color.
It has to do
It may.
something
Background
to.
Huh?
Like the background or the letters?
Like that name. So every time Mr. Zarate, if you put fuchsia or whatever that is, magenta, I don't know what that is. What
It's
is it?
got to come out though as an identifying, maybe not on your final transcript, but on your.
But see, like, there's no way of doing it. Like when you come in here to do the speaker identification, it's not going to, oh, let me push purple. No. All you need to do is push 2 for Mr. Green. I know that he's green because I selected the color green. I don't know. And we'll try it. We'll try it whenever. I've never had that question. That's kind of weird that I've taught this class that many times and I've never had that question. But we'll try it whenever. Remind me. If you remember, remind me, and we'll go in there and we'll change the speaker to a color and we'll see if it changes it in the transcript. Okay?
There are also buttons on the speaker list dialog that make it easy to reorganize the order in which the names appear. Additional functions of the speaker list are described.
And it looks like that's what it did.
Yeah, that's.
It may have changed the color. So by putting the color, that may have been what it did. It puts it in a different color.
Yeah.
So in the when you're doing real time, that's how you can do it. Okay? So that's actually pretty neat. I've never used that.
You can play with that though.
So if
Yeah. So, try it. Well, we haven't done speakers yet. So we haven't defined speakers. So whenever we do it, we'll try it. Okay?
Presentation on pre-translation speaker setup.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Okay, so let's go in here. So how do we get in here?
to change for the speaker.
Yeah, to get in the speaker.
F2.
F2.
F2. Oh, to get in home.
Home.
Home doesn't work for me. Never mind, you guys.
Is everybody in there like this?
Yes.
Yes.
Guys,
Yes.
y'all here?
Yes.
Everybody's here?
Yes.
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 All right. Hey, lady. So do F2. Now let's try it. So we're going to come in here. It's already kind of highlighted, but you need to highlight it. So highlight it. Just like this. Everybody here. Change. Color. Pick yellow. Okay. Okay. It kind of shows it as yellow. I don't know. Big Mr. Roberts. Again. Press enter. See how I did it in yellow?
Yes.
Yes. It's awesome.
So that's what it does. So that's what the colors do. So you can do different colors for different speakers. Does everybody have that?
Yeah.
Everybody understand?
Yeah.
Three blind mice over there? Y'all got it?
You could probably even change your Q&A, you know.
You can, and I showed y'all that, how to do that. I wouldn't mess with that
No.
a whole lot, but that's in your user settings, okay? And you can do different colors on that. And they'll show you that on the advanced, okay? So go in there and mess with that, if you want to, this weekend when you're gonna mess with this stuff,
Yes.
okay?
Okay.
Okay. Any questions about that? Speakers?
No.
No? Zero?
That's too long.
Okay guys, we've kind of gone over this already, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but it is another lesson, so we're going to go through it. Okay, so it's conflicts.
Eclipse is famous for intelligent conflict resolution. Let's see how it works. Here, the word table is an untranslate, although it's been intelligently guessed. I'll define it as a conflict. A backslash will separate each conflict choice from the next. I'll also include a command that tells the system that if a number follows, the number should be in numeral form, not written form. This conflict will go in my main dictionary. This will actually be two conflicts back to back. Your is a conflict that was resolved by the computer. Here, choice 1 is correct. Here you see that you can have different colors to display the conflicts that you yourself have picked, as opposed to those that the computer has picked and those that have yet to be resolved. You also notice that the dictionary indicates that Eclipse Artificial Intelligence has learned one rule for resolving this conflict in the future. Each time you select a conflict choice, Eclipse can learn from your editing. The more you use it, the smarter it gets. You can always select a different conflict choice if necessary. The number for each choice is displayed in the status bar at the lower left of your screen. But you can also right-click on a conflict to see its choices and pick the one that is correct.
We've already kind of gone over that, so I mean it's not that big of a deal. They just showed you how to resolve conflicts. So you can right-click on it if it's doctor, doctor, or doctor. Thought it was Spies Like Us. No one saw that movie? Easy lady. Doctor, and doctor. So you can come right here, make sure you're in hyperkeys on the your turn. Come over, which one is it? Just pick one. That really isn't your turn.
Here's an important tip concerning Eclipse Artificial Intelligence. It only learns new rules when you place your cursor on a conflict and pick the correct choice. If instead you just place your cursor on a conflict and just type new text, Eclipse learns nothing. In other words, Eclipse can learn when you pick a conflict, but not when you type over it.
You get that? I've told you guys that before. If you use it as a word processor, it's not going to learn what you're doing. It's really not. You try to use it as much as you can. Sometimes you just have to type some stuff in, just kind of the way it is. You know, so it's not that big of a deal. But use it as much as you can because it's going to learn what you're doing. So make sure you're doing it right too. Make sure that you're making the right choice because it's learning what you're doing. Okay?
Also, you should make your first conflict choice the more likely one. Then, in the Translate section of your user settings, you'll be able to ask Eclipse to pick the first choice when it otherwise would not know how to resolve a conflict. Sometimes a conflict will occur in an exceptional context, and you'll want to pick a conflict choice but not teach a context rule. If so, just hold down the Shift key and press the conflict choice number. That will take care of the exception without affecting what the artificial intelligence has learned. Much more could be said about conflicts, but this is the subject of a separate in-depth ePower video tutorial that includes a conflicts kit with dictionaries that contain hundreds of entries that have already learned how to resolve beautifully. So this is a great way to take full advantage of Eclipse translation magic.
Got it?
Let's see how to define slot strokes for conflict entries in your dictionary, and also how to share artificial intelligence. So your conflict for no could follow the same context rules that have been learned by your conflict for yes. This is an untranslate. Here's the steno that I was trying to write. It doesn't have the asterisk in the stroke. It's defined as a conflict. The first choice is yes, without any commas at all, and the second choice is yes, which might need to have a comma in front of it, a comma after it, or on both sides. That's what I wrote here. I did not write the comma, but Eclipse put the comma where it belonged. So what should I do? I could define it the same way that I have my good steno in my main dictionary, but then it would have to learn the very same rules from my editing choices. So let me make a dictionary entry. I'll use the special entries list and now press the end key to get to the end of the list where slop stroke is offered. And I'll press the enter key now. The steno dialog opens. Enter the good steno. When I write KWR asterisk E, act as if I had written KWRE, the good steno. And this needs to go in my main dictionary. It brought the text.
So you see what it's kind of doing there? It's actually kind of neat. So if you know you do a slop stroke, and let's just say you wrote, you have a habit of dragging your U when you hit he. Okay? Well, you're not going to write high a lot. Okay? But you know that you can set it up as a slop stroke, and that's what it's doing right there. So did y'all see how to do it? So you're going to highlight, or you're going to global the slop stroke, which is high, go into your special entries to slop stroke, and then put what it should have been, which was HE. Did y'all get that? Huh? What if you want to write high? No, it's going to give you the choice. It should give you the choice. So it's going to set it up in a conflict like this. Did you want high or he? Okay? And there's kind of another way to do it, and they're going to show you how to do it in another lesson. Okay? How to set up slop strokes. Okay?
To my document, and I've actually made a small change here. I've changed it to say John did. I'll pick choice 2 and then added a rule to the artificial intelligence. Here's one more tool to help you make slop stroke entries in your dictionary. When you're in the globaling window, you can press F9, the dictionary speed key, and Eclipse will look up the slop stroke for you. Here, choice 1 is the steno that I was trying to write. So Eclipse has put that in the globaling window for me. Let's take this one step.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even really know that one. I guess I hadn't paid attention. But, you know, if you want to do the slop stroke, do the F9. So you global your slop stroke, do F9, and it's going to drop down a box of what slop strokes it thinks you may have done, or what you were trying to write. So then you just pick the one that you need. Got it?
And every time
F9.
you do that, then it enters the right.
Yeah, it should. With the artificial intelligence, it should. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Further and see how to share artificial intelligence. Here's my steno for no, and here are the choices for this punctuating conflict. As a new conflict, you would have 0 artificial intelligence acquired. But I'm going to add some slop stroke syntax. This tells Eclipse the rules can be found at the entry for KWRE. The slop stroke feature will know how to share the artificial intelligence data, but it will use different text. Here are some other examples that follow this same principle. Each example is saying, I'm sharing the artificial intelligence that can be found at the entry for yes. And the rest of the entry tells Eclipse what text to use for the choices.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't. See, I don't know exactly what they're trying to do here, because I don't know that that's a slop stroke. That's not the way that I write the right. The your that you're going to need is not that one. It's the contraction. So that's not the way that I would write it. I guess they're writing it like that. I don't know. Huh? Hmm?
Because that's what they need to say.
Huh?
They're trying to write it as the contraction, I think, right?
What? Huh?
It's a typo.
Yeah. I mean, it,
It doesn't look right.
and I guess they're trying to do them all the same, like your, and your. I don't know. Actually, there's only two, your,
Yeah.
your.
Yeah.
I was
Not
trying
there,
to
there,
think
and
what's the
there.
third
What's the
one.
Just trying to keep you on your toes. Somebody else
Seeing
sleeping.
if we were awake.
Yeah. So, if you want to go in there and mess with it, you can. Here's one. And I guess that's what they were trying to do, is they left out the A on the red, and they just put red. I read the newspaper. Well, it's not R-E-D. Okay? So you put it in as a slop stroke. Does that make sense?
So you do G, and then you go under special entries, and you scroll all the way down, and then it's slop stroke.
Yeah.
And then when you put in there,
You put in what it's supposed to be, R-E-A-D. So you can just type it in. You don't have to put the little letters, you know, from the keyboard. You can just do the red. Did it come out?
What did you go under? Did you
Global
pull
it?
up F9? Oh, you global it.
Huh? Global it. Then go under special entries. And then keep doing S for slop stroke. When you get to slop stroke, press enter. It's going to put it in. It's going to open up that box and then ask you what it's supposed to be. It was supposed to be red, R-E-A-D. And then put it in. Okay? Where we up? Did y'all figure something out?
No.
Did y'all figure something else out?
No.
We just figured that she needs to stop asking questions because I asked her.
Huh?
I asked her questions and she ended up asking you. I said,
Well, you need a translator?
just want to know if she knows.
Okay, let me get in trouble.
Check the bait.
Ride or die, girl. Ride or die. Oh, we're going bad.
Gonna finish this together.
Okay, there's a lot of your turn things in there, and you can go through there and do them. Okay? Use it. I went through there, and some of the other stuff is going to be on some of the lessons, so that's why I didn't really go through there and kind of mess with it or whatever. But use it. Any questions about this section? Oh, yeah.
Just one quick question on, I kind of did what you did right now.
Yeah.
When you went into special entries with the slop strokes, you put in steno, right?
Yeah.
R-E, okay. When I did that, it changed it, I thought it would change it to read, R-E-A-D, but it's R-E-A-D.
What did it change it to?
Like steno, R-A-D.
Yeah. That's how you do read. R-E-E-D.
Yeah, I understand that, but I thought we were gonna change it.
It should have. It didn't?
I don't know, I just think, I don't understand it.
What, I mean, that's what it does. Let's see if we can find one.
It's right there.
So G, Control E, slop stroke, R-E-A-D, enter.